Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to my inaugural. I've tried to do this before, but this is my. We're doing this. We're gonna do this thing. Uh, my idea is let's just get together and have a conversation because people are feeling lonely. They're feeling a little depressed, feeling little, little out there, and so I figure, hey, you know what? Let's start chatting. So here we are. Let me know how you're doing, and we're gonna talk about life. I'm not sure how often I'm gonna go live, how often I'm gonna do this. I'm thinking at least once a week. Hello, hello, Tyler, Anthony. um, Let me tell you a little bit more about myself. You don't know. Okay, so I've been doing stand-up comedy for over 20 years. I started in '98, and I've also studied philosophy and hypnotherapy. I am also a hypnotist. Um, let's see. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to share this. I got to share this with people on the Facebooks, and I'm not sure how to do this. How do we? How do we? Okay, here we go. So I'm learning, everybody. I'm learning how to do this, and because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, but I've got some good friends who are helping me out. Okay. So I'm learning, everybody. Oh, see, look, now I got this double thing going on here. Okay. And because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, but I've got some good friends who are helping me out. Okay. So I'm learning. Oh, see, look, now I got this double thing going on here. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, but I've got some good friends who are helping me out. Okay. So I'm learning. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about all that. It was a little nutty. But there's some people. All right. So here we are. Invite you to join me. I've got big plans, big ideas. We're talking about, of course, this podcast. We're going to be doing these live streams a little more often than we currently are. I'm going to be answering your questions. I'm going to be doing what I can. I'm going to tell you what's going on. I spent this last weekend with my two older brothers. We went fly fishing. I've never done fly fishing before, and it was one of the most difficult and literally one of the most impossible things to do. And I had a great time doing it. It was aggravating, but I had an enjoyable time. Nice little getaway up in the Yellowstone. If you haven't been there, that place is gorgeous. I love it. I love Yellowstone. I love being outdoors. People need to get outdoors. If you're feeling down, go outdoors. Just go for a walk outside. Put your phone down. In fact, leave your phone at home and just go for a walk. Go outside. Go see the world. Uh, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. You're designed to be outside. You're designed to be hitting the sunlight. The sunlight. One of the biggest problems we have is a deficiency of vitamin D. And you know where you get it? The sun. Just sort of just show it's free. You just walk outside, and the sun just gives you vitamin D and makes you feel better. Get outside. Go. Get out. Start having a even in the rain, go enjoy the rain. Who cares? Don't let that bother you, my friends. Don't let the rain bother you. But I had a great time in Yellowstone, and then I'm currently in Utah, but we are leaving tomorrow morning. I am going to be in Las Vegas for the rest of the week. I'm going to be at the Wise Guys down in. It's just opening. It's a grand opening for the Wise Guys. I've been helping with this thing, and I'm going to be having a great time opening. We got two open mics one tomorrow night and one Wednesday. If you want to do stand-up comedy in Las Vegas, now's your chance to get on stage at a real club, not a bar. It's a real club. You can come do stand-up comedy. So I'm going to be there that week, plus doing the regular shows Monday. Oh, not Monday, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm trying. Here's my thing, everybody. Even though I've been doing stand-up comedy for a long time, I figured I was an old middle-aged white guy that nobody cared. There's a bunch of old middle-aged white guys doing stand-up comedy. Probably the largest group of stand-up comedians is that demographic. So the idea of, and I have seen lots of people who just hit it big and became huge, very successful, very good friends of mine, like Ryan Hamilton, Shane Smith, name a couple, and several others people I've worked with over the years, met them before they became big, like Frank Caliendo and stuff. And so I understand this business. That there's a lot of funny people out there and haven't gotten anywhere, and it's a very difficult business to really hit it big. I mean, there's a lot of people doing stand-up comedy that aren't making any money. Well, I'm gonna be one of those. So I never planned on being famous. I just kept doing my thing, and all of a sudden, stuff started happening. But I still don't know what to do with it yet. That's my problem. So I'm just enjoying my life, totally enjoying my life, enjoying all the support I've been getting. You guys are fantastic. Every one of you, I love you dearly. Thank you so much. And I'm just sharing messages that you all know. I'm not saying anything new. I'm not some. I don't know. People tell me I am, but I don't think I'm anything special. I'm just like everybody else. I'm just guessing at this whole thing and doing what I can. So, but we got big plans. Like I said, we're going to start doing streams quite a bit. I'm going to be opening up. I've got a Patreon account, but I haven't done anything with it. But I'm going to start posting stuff there tomorrow. I'm going to start kind of debuting some of my videos earlier, so you get to see them a little early. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, the accordion. I gotta tell you. Okay, let me tell you, Anthony, about that video about accordion players. I had no idea. I went out there. See, people pay me. Actually, one of the ways I'm actually making money. People will send me money to wish other people happy birthday, which I love. I want a Cameo, and then you can also do it through my website. Anyway, I didn't know that you could that people would pay you to wish people happy birthday. Anyway, so somebody asked me to make a happy birthday video, so I went out in my backyard and I've made about 3 happy birthday videos, and then I had two video ideas that I wanted to make, so I made those 2 videos at the same time. And while I was setting up the camera, I actually accidentally hit play or record. And so, still in character, I just thought, screw it. I just started yammering on. I had no plan what I was going to say. I just got in a character as Leonard. In case you don't know, his name is Leonard McCrunsky, the world's greatest motivational speaker. And I started just yammering on, and I had no idea what I was going to say. I just started going on, and the accordion player thing popped up, and as soon as I was done with the video, I thought, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever recorded, and I don't think I should share it with anybody. And then I did, and people loved it. And I thought, okay, I guess no editing. So almost every single video I make as Leonard is one take. I just turn on the camera, have an inkling of an idea, and then just roll with it. So call that divine intervention if you will, but that's what's going on. But anyway, we have another idea. I've been a very good gentleman has become a good friend of mine in the last over the last week. Really, we've been talking about some great ideas. I'm gonna bring my friend in here. Uh, Greg, we're so new, I'm not even quite sure how to say his last name. But this is my friend Greg. There we go. There we are. How you doing, Greg? Hold on, I muted then unmuted you. Okay, okay. Are you there?
There we go.
There we go.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
How you been, Greg?
Oh, I've been awesome, man. All these awesome projects going on. Just a lot of just things to keep busy on. That's creative and fun. It's a bad time and it's a great time to be alive right now.
Yeah,
I must say.
Yeah, let's see, Nig up. I hope that's a positive thing that he's going for on that name. But anyway, what are your thoughts about the future of our economic system? I think that you need to learn how to grow your own vegetables because the economic system, I think, is headed for a big world of hurt. We've been doing horrible things with if you look at particularly the United States, the deficits and the debt that we have, this can't be sustained. And then once Russia and China dump the dollar, we're all sitting on a monopoly money is what we're doing. So I hope that everybody's learning how to. I'm learning the healthy benefits of dandelions. I mean, there's all this old knowledge that we had years and years that was handed down for centuries, basically got wiped out because of modern medicine, which is a big Ponzi scheme as far as I'm concerned. And so, yeah, if I'm concerned about the economical situation, I think people need to start taking, and you don't need to be scared. You don't need to be afraid. Just start taking care of things. Start learning how to take care of yourself. Don't be so dependent on the stores. If the truckers actually get shut down, I mean, it would only take, if you shut down I-70 and I-80, you would cripple the United States in a heartbeat. If you've ever been into, I've lived in North Carolina when we had hurricanes come through, and we'd be without power for a week at a time, 2 weeks. You couldn't get anything. We were just fine ourselves because we had enough food storage and water and everything that we were okay for a couple of weeks. But beyond that, we knew we probably had to do better. But those kinds of things are going to happen more and more with the way this world is going now. So just take care of yourself, man. Just start putting stuff, get into food storage, get into learn how to live off the land, grow your own food. And mostly don't. And my message to everybody is chill out, calm down. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be scared. If you are prepared, you shall not fear, as they say. But now with that. Here we go, my friends. Me and Greg have been talking about a great idea. We think we're gonna do this. We are going to make the movie about Leonard McCrunsky. So, what do you people think? Give us your ideas. So we're taking, or if you have some ideas. Yeah, cryptos. I'm okay with cryptos. But I would highly recommend silver is probably the best thing to get into. Gold's get silver you can actually hold in your hands. Don't buy this certificate. Get actual gold, actual mineral. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so we want to make a movie about Leonard. What's and what do we want to talk about the NES thing?
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay, explain to people. I had no idea that this was even a thing, that you could do this. But explain to people what the NES is.
Well, the Nintendo Entertainment System,
right.
Came out, what was that, 1984, I believe. There's a big retro gaming homebrew market where people were making their own NES games, Sega Genesis, all these old systems. And it's a pretty big market, and it's just really fun to really, get brand new games. You get it in cartridge form in the packaging with the handbook, just like, back in the 80s, when the NES was king.
Yeah.
and it's really fun. A lot of people have been jumping on this market and just having a blast. A lot of people are making home brews. So we're going to make a Leonard McClonsky homebrew, and it'll
Yes.
follow basically the story, somewhat the story of Leonard in the movie. What we've been conceiving here, mostly Rodney. He's got pretty much the whole idea and the vision for it, where Leonard just pretty much goes through and improves people's lives, and you don't know whether he's some idiot or whether he's got some kind of spiritual power behind him or something. A lot of little secrets there. And so in the video game, it would be like a Legend of Zelda style game where Leonard's running around, he's throwing rainbows, hearts, and light beams.
like Care Bears is what I envision.
Yeah, like the Care Bears.
we shall overcome with love and happiness.
Oh, it's such a hilarious idea, but it could be a totally fun game. Every bit as fun as Legend of Zelda, just with some comedy. We could throw some of Leonard's lines in there. Something I thought about was when he dies, you could have text pop up that says, "Okay, bye."
Okay, bye.
Show Leonard like not happy. He just died. Hilarious. But yeah, man, it's just the ideas are endless. This character's brilliant. I really can't wait to see the other characters you've got in store for us too. Can you tell us about any of them right now, or is it too soon?
Too soon. Like I said, I'm going to do separate introductional videos.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of do of the same style, They're to the camera.
I can't wait.
But, I've got one. He's a preacher who lost his faith, and so now he's an existentialist. But he still has that preacher. So it's basically a preacher who's preaching atheism.
That could be fun.
I've played around with him on stage a couple times, but I'm actually developing a whole thing around that guy. So that should be fun.
I like this neg up guy in your chat there. He's got his eyes on things. He's got a good mindset too. Most of the message he's saying, don't give up. And
that's right. Okay, so that's what he means by NEGUP, never give up. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's right too. Like right here, he was saying never ever give up. He said that a couple times. And see, this is the thing is, I know from going through hard times that you always have to have hope, to get through really rough times. And being into wilderness survival, at least more like watching wilderness survival videos, like, and stuff like Survivor Man, Les Stroud, for example, they all will tell you that hope is the number one survival tool. If you don't have it, you won't survive, no matter how much food and water and stuff. Loss of hope will kill you. So that's, I'm not a spiritual flake type, or I don't know. I'm not making fun of spiritual people by any means. I know plenty that are really great people and live by what they say, but I'm not spiritual personally. But things like that is what really hits home to me. Real life stuff, how to get through really rough stuff, and it really turns out it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's probably the most surprising thing to me is the message that I try to deliver to people is that as bad as you think it is, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's you think that you're singled out, that your life is miserable and horrible, and you're the only one. It's like no, everybody's going through this stuff.
Yeah,
that was my message behind Nothing Special, is that we're all going through this. We all see what's happening around the world. And if you let it get you overwhelmed and depressed, you're never going to get out of that funk, and you're not going to make proper decisions.
Yeah.
So by looking at the world, saying, look, what do I have control over? That's what I'm going to focus on. Things I don't have control over, there's no sense in wasting my time or energy on those things. I'm not saying ignore the world. I'm not saying, completely devoid yourself of contact with the rest of the world. But just decide, what is it that I have control over? What can I do? You can go plant food.
Hmm.
You can do a garden in your own backyard or front yard, or if you don't have a yard, you can grow stuff in your house, or you can start taking extra money that you have now and go buy some food storage. Have it there so that, when the powers go off and everything goes crazy and your phone stops working, you can still take care of yourself. You still have, you have your own mind, you have your own life. Learn to be your own best friend. Learn to
Hmm.
be your own happy place, so that even when the world goes crazy, you still got yourself that you can depend on,
Hmm.
and know that you can get through anything. I mean, think of all the horrible things you've already been through that you've forgotten about. Think about all those moments in your life where you thought, this is it, it's over, I'm never going to get beyond this, and you did.
Hmm.
You're very resilient. We're very resilient, and it really comes down to that hope, just knowing that, hey, I'm going to get through this. This is not going to be forever. I'm going to just enjoy this moment for what it is, whatever suffering I'm going through, figure out what I can do and learn from this. And then you get stronger. Then you find that you can deal with even more as your life goes on. And a lot
Yeah.
of this is just from just not letting the world get you down, regardless of how horrible it is. Look, I've got financial issues myself. I've got personal things going on in my life, and I wish I was in a better situation. But what can I do? Well, I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and live my life and have fun, enjoy it. It's like, why get upset? Being upset, I often tell people, or they get mad at me. I've had people actually get mad at me, sent me messages saying, "Hey, this is terrible. You tell people to be happy when everything's going horrible. Blah blah blah. Being happy isn't going to change anything." I'm like, well, that's true, but being miserable and hateful isn't going to change anything either in that regards. Your emotional state is only going to improve or hurt you.
Mhm.
It's not going to change the situation. Being upset because of what's going on in Washington isn't going to change anything in your life.
Mhm.
So why be upset about it at all? Just go, okay, it is what it's going to be, what it's going to be. I'm still going to live my life and be happy.
Yeah. You know,
And
I'm, yeah.
this is the idea behind the movie, is Leonard going around reminding people they already know how to live their life. You already know how to be happy. You just stop doing it for some reason.
Hmm. And you're doing other things that make you unhappy. I see a lot of people trapped in different unhealthy lifestyles. I see that commonly here in Ohio, where I am, low economic Ohio. A lot of people are trapped in drug abuse lifestyles and all that.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
meth, there's pills, all these people, very unstable people, and that's literally the only thing they would need to change to completely upgrade their lives in a massive way, is just take one thing out of their life. And I know I'm oversimplifying it, because then we're talking addictive substances, Mountain Dew, for example. I know a lot of people, they're way overweight, and it's all because of the goddamn Dew.
Yes, yes.
It really is, and they're sick,
You're
bad
you're
immune
pumping
system.
5 times as much sugar as you need in one day in a 20-ounce soda.
Not to
And
mention the
you're
other
drinking,
things we don't even know is in it.
yeah, you're drinking 5 or 10 of those a day. You're that's your problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm sitting here vaping, so I mean that's not it's not the healthiest thing, but it's a hell of a lot better than
Well,
cigarettes.
I think one of the things I have a problem with in the United States is the way we handle addiction. Is that we look at addiction as a problem, but in reality, it's a symptom to a bigger problem. People
Hmm.
take drugs because they feel that there's a void in their life. They're trying to fill it,
Mhm.
and it becomes a problem. But when it starts, it's a symptom to they're going to drugs, they're going to that release, they're going to that because there's something wrong with them. They're trying to find an answer to, and sometimes just taking the drugs just stops the thoughts, stops
Mhm.
the process in the brain that's hurting them.
They get those dopamine hits, you
Yeah,
know. Now,
yeah,
see,
and getting
before
people to
drugs,
see
they would have
that.
got it from doing something that they accomplish, building the home for their family, for example, like previous generations They got the big dopamine hits by standing back, looking at that home every day. When they walk in their home, they're proud because they built it for their family, or they crafted this really lovely drawer, cupboard or something, or table. Just accomplishment, creating beauty in the world, whether it's art or whatever. I preach art. I'm not religious, but if closest thing to being religious is creation, I think, to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, neurologists have studied people in the state of meditation, the state of prayer, the state of performance, and the state of creating and building and designing, all these different state of minds that people get in when they do these different things. And they found that they were all very similar. The strongest that stimulated this part of the mind, the strongest one came from the most stimulation came from creating art and performing, much more than prayer and meditation and all the other stuff. And if you think about it, creator, to create, it's almost like the ancients almost giving us a little clue there. Create things to be next to God.
Yeah. I like to tell people, they ask me, what's the meaning of life? For some reason, they think I got it all figured out. And well, guess what? I do. No surprise. I mean, whether you believe that we were created by an all-knowing being that that you believe in, as I refer to, the God person, or you think that we're just a big happy accident, that all of this is just things just happen, all of a sudden here we are. Regardless of which one of those you pick or you go with, the meaning of our lives is the same thing. It's for us to create our own meaning. We've been given this gift, wherever you think it came from. We have a beautiful gift to create a life and do whatever we want with it. You can become a horrible, rotten, miserable, terrible person and do miserable, terrible, horrible things, or you can be a wonderful, caring, kind, wholesome, good person that just wants to love and appreciate everybody and everything else in between. But it's for you. It's for you to create that world. It's for you to create that's why, in philosophy, we talk about this idea that you create your own reality. And it doesn't mean that you just go off into la la land and, start envisioning, fairies and dragons or whatever. What it means is that you create the world and life that you want to have. And whatever it is that you have now, it's because you've chosen that. Maybe there's something you need to learn. You need to constantly get your butt kicked before you finally learn, oh, hey, I can achieve things. But whatever it is, just deciding what it is that you want to do with your life. You have the opportunity to do this now, probably more than ever before in history of mankind. The world is just laid out open to you. There's in art to create businesses, to create stronger relationships. It's all right here. It's all right there. We have you shouldn't be thinking, wow, I have limited options. What you should be saying is, I have too many options, and I need to just pick something and go with it. And if it doesn't work, you're still learning. You're still growing. I mean, when you create art, often, you start with an idea, and hardly ever your finished product is anywhere near what you start with. Like when we've been talking about the movie for Leonard, just in talking, it's evolving. It's becoming bigger and better.
That's the beauty of it, is the process. That's the fun part to me.
But you've got to start doing the process. If you never start, if you just sit around and lay around and go, how come I can't achieve anything? Well, you're not doing anything to achieve anything. Start making phone calls.
I try to do at least one thing moving forward at least one thing a day.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to write a book, you know what it is? It's a bunch of words after other words. It's sentences. If you can't think, I can't write the whole book well, no, write one sentence a day.
Yep.
And as you're writing, your brain starts going, oh, hey, this is what we're doing now. And then it starts focusing on that. And then next time you sit down, you write two sentences. And then you're writing a whole paragraph. and then pretty soon you're writing a page a day, and then maybe a chapter a day, and all of a sudden you've written a book. And it all starts to just start doing it. Just start doing it.
I don't know if you hear that, by the way. The rednecks are shooting off fireworks. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but they're celebrating cows and farm machines. I think that's the celebration. Yeah, down at the fairgrounds. What do we got going on in the chat here? We've been neglecting the chat. We've got. Let me see if I can catch up down here. We've got E. Ortiz. He's from my crowd over there at Tank Ferret's channel, the Brain Cage Multimedia channel. Awesome. It's awesome seeing him here. And Neg Up is thinking, so you want to have food and water. What about crypto? I think you covered the gold and silver and all that.
That comes down to you got to think that the currency system's pretty much probably going to fall apart. We're going to end up kind of being a barter type situation. So I learned an invaluable lesson when I was in the Marine Corps. We went to Norway for an military exercise for a month. And before we left, we were allowed, we're NCOs, we're, non-commissioned officers. We were allowed to bring a little extra stuff with us. So we could take an extra duffel bag with us overseas. And the sergeant that I was friends with, he did smoke. He wasn't a smoker, but he loaded his bag with cartons of cigarettes and chewing tobacco, playing cards. He had like crossword puzzles, all this stuff, like just filled the duffel bag with all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Hustling.
He goes, every one of these trips, everybody who goes on it who wants to quit smoking, they decide this is going to be their opportunity to quit smoking. They stop smoking for about 2 days, and then they're willing to pay almost anything for a cigarette.
That's a hustler.
People are bored. You go to these exercises, we sit around, everybody's bored all the time, and nobody brings anything to do.
Well, you better.
He brings a card. He says, he made a couple grand off every exercise he ever went on. I was like, that is brilliant.
You better hope it doesn't break down to barter, because that's not a system to survive on.
It's not, but it's good to have something that you can barter with. It's not a long-term sustainable system, but it might get down to that point where, hey, if you got a garage full of toilet paper, it could serve you well to get other things.
Yeah, what I've been advising people. Maybe this is a bit much, but I've been advising people not to rely on day jobs or any local economies, and try to get something going on that they can make money from globally and off the internet, so that they can live anywhere and get that money. That way, if something goes wrong in the country, your main country, you're doing business, you can shift your business or whatever it is you're selling. You can shift that to another country where their currency is good. Also, I'm advising people, if you can, get out of the U.S., especially Australia. It's probably too late for that unless you can sneak out.
Oh, yeah, Australia. Holy cow. That's
get out if you can. If you have to fucking crawl through a desert, maybe you want to get out of there. People are talking about wanting to fight in the U.S. and Canada and Great Britain. Honestly, I would advise people get out first. Then if something bad happens, something really bad happens, you'll be watching it safely from a distance. And if you want to go back and fight and try and take back your country or whatever, sure. But it's a bad time to be in those countries. U.S., Australia, Canada, the U.K. It's a bad time right now.
It's, and like I said,
it's unstable.
If you can move to a better location, awesome. If you can't, then you just got to figure out how to make it work where you're at. Yeah.
Growing food, like you said, that's key. We got winter coming up soon. Going to have to grow indoors, or have in most parts of the country, or have some kind of greenhouse that's heated. I'm I think, I'm not going to sit here and doom and gloom, but I think some really bad stuff is coming soon. And so I'm kind of planning accordingly, because I'll tell you what, throughout history, there was always a small percentage of a population that saw the bad stuff coming and they got out. Everybody else told them they were crazy. It's what the story of Noah. I mean, it's an ancient story, Noah's Ark. It's a similar kind of story. All it means is you see the storm clouds rolling in, so you're going to go take cover, but in a bigger way. Yeah. And that's what my mindset is. It's not a good place to be. I'm not going to go into details, be doom and gloom, and sully up your channel here with your show with that stuff. It's not the show for that, but just take care of yourselves out there, people. Keep your eyes peeled. Especially use your brains. Don't trust any authority or seeming authority, media, politicians.
And I caution people not to be too excited about things that you may be hearing from various sources that agree with what you think is happening, because there are so many different operations going on to get us confused and and get us to not act, get us to do things that because we think, oh, it's already taken care of,
or act in the wrong way.
As I often say, the easiest lie to fall for is one that you want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they get you. That's how a lot of these things happen. They basically just create bias porn and tell you all this crap that you think, okay, yeah, that's what's going to happen. That's what's all right. Yeah. And then it doesn't. And then you get depressed when it doesn't happen. And that's part of the game. And you got to learn to just understand that you're being lied to all the time from whatever media source it is.
It's true.
And just learn to depend on your gut instincts. Okay, somebody had asked, let me see, who was it? Cody 117. Can we ask for advice? Absolutely. Ask away. You got a question, throw it out. Happy to help. And a lot of it also is just learn how to simplify your life. You don't need all this garbage that you spend money on. Stop wasting your money on crap. That's probably the lesson I needed to learn.
Hey, so Sharon said, please freak out my friends. Say hi to Ramona, please.
Hello, Ramona. Okay, let's do it as Leonard. Hello, Ramona. Thank you for stopping by. Say hello. Okay, bye. So you edit that in, Ramona?
You fucking hit that. Oh, sorry, the language. You hit that out of the park every time, that character, man. It's phenomenal.
I tell you, he is so fun to. When I finally, I've told you. Well, I talked about it on your broadcast. But it's based off my grandfather, who was an alcoholic. And he used to always try to give us these life lessons. And so it was like half. So I was a railroad engineer, about 42. He would just ramble on about these weird things. And it just stuck with me. And then the one day I saw this friend of mine trying to do these motivational videos on Instagram. And I thought, that's it. My alcoholic grandfather giving people advice as the world's worst motivational speaker, and that is Leonard. I started having so much fun.
Brilliant.
I love it. I just absolutely love it.
It's brilliant, and he's such a likable character too. It's not like, that's honestly that's what nails it out of the park. I think for a lot of people, is the character's just plain likable. I mean, there are guys kind of like Leonard that we can see out there in our towns. They got the messed up hair and a funny way of talking. And it's just a brilliant character. It's believable. I mean, the first time I saw him, I'm like, is this guy real? This is hilarious. This guy, what is this? Is this a real
I've had
guy?
a lot of people get mad at me when they find out that it's just a character.
Like it's a betrayal, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I can see that.
I'm sorry that you're upset that I'm a good actor.
Yeah, I liked it better because what it told me is I have a new favorite comedian. And because I've only had a few people to watch now for the last few years. There's been Bill Burr. I love Bill.
I love Bill Burr. He's a good dude. I've worked with him. I've opened for Bill Burr. He's
That
a
is
cool
awesome.
dude. He's
That
just
is,
such a cool, down to
you
earth.
can tell. You can tell.
Yeah.
He's blunt. You know, I like those blunt guys. They're not fake positivity. They're real positivity. You know, because even if he gives you bad critique on something, he's going to do it in a way that's going to improve you if you listen. You know, he could teach you something.
Yeah. Yeah, you may not agree with him, but at least he's honest about his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that, that's one thing I think people need to learn is that if people don't agree with everything you say, you don't need to destroy them.
Yeah.
And feel like you're less of a person in any way because someone you like disagrees with you. That's called childish. That's being a spoiled brat when you have that mentality. I enjoy people I disagree with.
Yeah.
I enjoy having a good, hard conversation with somebody who I disagree with about things. Because that's how you learn. That's how you learn. And that's part of society that we're abandoning for some reason. Actual civil discourse, we've completely abandoned it. It's sad, very sad.
I enjoy it when they bring me new data.
Yes.
And when they're not parroting all the same crap all the normies are parroting. Yes. You know, like when that happens, I'm just like, oh, here we go again.
I feel embarrassed when they just every argument they come up with is the same. Like I can watch CNN to get this opinion. I don't need to listen to you.
Yeah.
But I want to hear what you really think, not what you think you're supposed to think. What do you
it's
really
disappointing.
Think?
It's disappointing how often it happens, honestly, especially how people will be very aggressive about it, you know, and so sure of themselves. Anyone who's had any conversations with real scientists, and I mean real scientists, not just someone with a science degree, but real scientists, they're not that sure of very much.
No.
You know,
science. I mean, we look at science like it's a belief system. It's not. Science is just a method of discovery.
Yeah, process.
And what we're learning is changing all the time because one, our instrumentation gets better. Things just ideas come and go and change. And I mean, science is a process that is continually improving and moving forward. And yet our ideas about it are still back in the 1920s for some reason.
Really? And we got guys
archaic thinking.
You're absolutely correct. And we got guys like Neil deGrasse Tyson, what's his name? Science guy, Bill Nye. These guys are actually pushing some outdated science from the 80s and some of these different concepts.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I think there might be, I'm not going to put the full tinfoil hat on your show, but I feel like there's a campaign to cause science illiteracy as well as language, like linguistic illiteracy. You know, I'm well-read. I'm a well-read person. I always did very well with the English language, reading and writing. But the last 20-ish years of social media, or however long it's been, I struggle when I write now because I'll misspell something and then I'll catch it and then I'll go, oh crap. And it's a common misspelling that I see a lot of people out there doing, and I'll soak it in. There's a lot of illiteracy being spread by the internet. Everybody's always rallying behind the internet as if it is the ultimate bastion of knowledge. But really, what I've found in any complex topic or system that I've personally studied deeply into, it only scratches the surface, and it might point you in the right direction. But you have to actually go out there. You have to read science journals. You have to network with people in those fields to get, significant data. And you're not going to get a real significant, for the most part. You can get great recipes, stuff like that. But, you're getting a lot. There's so much disinformation out there. And I believe it's to keep people illiterate.
It's to get you, in some ways it makes people who are so, it makes them feel empowered because I could go to the internet and I can prove everything I believe is true and here it is, blah blah blah. Well, you can prove whatever it is that you want to find. It's out there. There's somebody who agrees with whatever opinion you have, and they have scientific studies and charts and graphs and historical comments. But whatever you want, you can pick the most ridiculous idea, and you can find an enormous amount of support for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely. There's data that suggests, for example, that 80% of men should be killed and the other 20% put in concentration camps to be used as labor for women. There's actually people that believe that is something that needs to happen. And they have scientific data that makes it look like, to somebody who doesn't know any better, that maybe that is a good idea, guys. Let's go kill all the man. You know, it's nonsense. That's the internet, man.
Yeah.
So in the middle of all this nuts and clown world crap, we got Leonard. Leonard pops in. Leonard pops in and says, just chill, guys. Just do cool stuff.
That is the goal behind the whole thing, is just get people to realize that we aren't that smart. We have, what was it? One of my favorite quotes. I should probably memorize it if I love it that much. But Einstein always said that we only know 1/1000th of a percent of all the knowledge that we're possible of understanding. We don't even have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have access to all of the things going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different, you can call it dimensions or whatever you want. So much going on that influences our reality that we don't even have access to. And yet we're coming along and being so sure that we know everything.
Yeah.
It's like that's a problem. That's a problem. And when you decide, I know everything, I'm smarter than everybody else, that's pride. And as I like to refer to pride, is self-inflicted damnation. And that is that you are stopping yourself from progressing because you think you already know everything. You can't, the old senseis, you can't teach someone who already knows everything.
Like that video of Leonard, the video of Leonard with the cup that's full, and he's like, oh, he's pouring it over. There's no room for the new data to go in.
Yes.
It's also why I'm careful about what data I intake, because I'm working on different, very complex projects. And if I overextend myself too much, I take in too much data, I can't function on those projects optimally. So I literally tell people, like some of the guys on my team, those of you who probably don't know out there, I have a multimedia company I'm launching. We're starting with comic books. We've got miniatures, all kinds of different stuff. Guys in the team, we'll start with just an idea. And you just gotta. I kind of lost my train of thought there. I'm a big picture thinker, and if I get into detail, sometimes I lose it. We were on.
Lost in the rough.
Yeah, it was. I did the side tangent to kind of introduce myself, but I forget what the hell I was even going at there, Rodney. I'm amateur.
I forgot too. I don't know where you're going.
We were talking about. What I wanted to bring up is. Not being sure about things doesn't mean you can't be confident in your ability to handle things, though. And I think that's an important thing to also bit of data to deliver along with that concept, because I see a lot of people who are afraid to ever make decisions when they need to, and they'll stumble around. They'll get anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety over decision making. And at some point you have to get to a point where you just say, I think I have enough data to make a decision. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
And you just have to. And this kind of goes along with your message of just doing things, do cool stuff and all that. At some point, you're going to just have to dive in.
Analysis paralysis. It's like, I'm going to keep studying and I'm going to know everything before I do it. You're never going to know anything until you start doing it. In stand-up comedy, I think that's one of the biggest lessons people have to learn, is that getting up in front of a group of strangers and making them laugh is a very difficult thing to accomplish, and it takes enormous amounts of practice. And the thing is you can go and learn from somebody how to write a joke or how to do stand-up, but the curious thing about it is that you have to learn how you tell a joke. You have to learn how you do stand-up comedy. And you can't learn that from anyone else except you.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you do that is you just keep doing it. You just get up there, you do it, you tell jokes that are horrible and terrible and fail and embarrass yourself. And then you go, okay, that didn't work. But this other thing did. And it's just, you just have to keep doing it. You have to keep writing, 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 performing, writing, rewriting. As I say, um, anybody can write jokes, but a comedian rewrites jokes. You constantly are rewriting and redo. You know, it's funny. I did a comedy special for Dry Bar back in 2017, and at the time that Dry Bar, I had no idea what it was. The first season, they seemed like they had no idea what they were doing, and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, right? But my friend was booking it. He got me the gig, and I appreciate it. I was like, "Hey, this is going to be great. I hope this takes off. This is going to be awesome." So I did the special, and had some disagreements with not huge. I mean, it wasn't, we didn't hate each other or anything. I love Dry Bar. I love everything that's going on there. But I did my special, and they didn't release it at all. In fact, after about 2 years, my understanding was that they were never going to release my special. And so I'm like, okay. So I guess they're just never going to release it. Because, again, I'm just another middle-aged white guy. Why, there's nothing special about me. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, all right. I guess it's never going to get released. Well, then the opportunity comes to do another one for Dry Bar. Because so with the thought that I'd already done one, but they were never going to release it. So I had a lot of jokes that are on that first special that have changed over the years because I've developed, so I had a better version of those jokes. And so I did those on my new special. And so so I have that. Well, then shortly after that, they released the original special. They released it a few months ago. So it's out there, right? So you can go on Dry Bar and you can find my special from 2017. But in another week or two, sometime before the end of September, they're releasing my most recent special, which has some of the same jokes on it, which is kind of like kind of aggravating.
Yeah.
The other thing was I did a live show for them that when they're not taping for their actual Dry Bar specials, they'll have because they have a comedy club there in Provo, and they'll just do regular shows during the week, during the off season. I went and did one of those shows, and I wasn't aware of it, but they broadcast it live and recorded it and posted that also on. You can find it on YouTube if you look up Rodney Norman Comedian Dry Bar. It pulls up the live show, and it's a lot of the same jokes because, again, I didn't think it was being recorded. Nobody'd seen these jokes before. And so now I basically have 3 versions of several jokes. They're going to be out there. And
that's frustrating.
You're kind of like, you don't want that,
No.
But I've kind of just accepted it because I'm thought, if anything, people get to see the evolution of a joke. They get to see how an act develops and changes and how presentation, because my presentation from 2017, very different than what I do now. And you get to see all of that and how I changed over, just a couple years.
That's cool.
Well, I hope people appreciate it. I mean, it'll probably, I don't know, maybe it'll destroy my career and people go, this guy doesn't write any new material, but
I don't think so.
We'll see what happens when they finally release a special.
I'm sure.
And because of that, I also got to do Santa Claus. Did you see my Santa Claus stand up?
No.
You have to look that up. It's on Drive.
I have to see this.
But I did Santa doing stand up last winter. I might do it again this year. But it was fun. It was just one of those. It was one of those crazy, weird ideas that I had one day, and so I just started playing around with it, and finally did it for another friend's show. He does this. His name's Guy Seidel, and he holds a show every year. It's an auction, and he raises money every year for underprivileged families for Christmas, so they can have a good Christmas. And the first time he did it, I think he made like $500 or something. It was just kind of thrown together at the last minute. He auctioned a few things off and helped out like 2 families or something. Well, over the years, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And I think this one year, it was like over $25,000 that he raised. It's incredible what he's pulled off, and I love supporting him and what he does with it. But so one of the shows I did, that's where I introduced Santa doing stand up. It was like 5 minutes, a couple dumb jokes.
I could imagine you as Santa. That could be pretty hilarious.
So it was fun. So then over the next year, I developed it and wrote more jokes, and that's it's on Dry Bar too. Is you can look me up and Santa, and it's on there too. But
I don't know if you've been looking at the chat, but you, for being a brand new streamer, you already have a really awesome and supportive community here interacting in your chat.
Oh, they're amazing. I have so many just
amazing
people.
So we got Betsy Bay from Frankfort, Michigan. She says hello. We got Smelly the Goat, and he's been out there interacting a lot. Aka Oni. I'm sorry if any of this is mispronounced. James Walker, Paul G. What's up, everyone? Sharon.
James is I got to tell you about James.
Hmm.
That dude is so amazing. He's an artist. He does a lot of cartoons. He started doing cartoons of me about a year ago. But he's actually set up a weekend. I'm going to be in California. They're in the wine country doing shows for a weekend.
Nice.
He's set up. He said, I want you to come here and do stand up. So he's contacted locations. He set the shows up, and I'm going to go there. We're going to hang out for a weekend. He's
so cool, James.
He came to Utah one time to watch me perform. That dude is an incredible support. And
that's awesome.
I've got a lot of people that, if you want to see me live, want to see my stand-up show, if you got a place, just set something up and I'll come. I'll do it. Let's do it. If you've got like an organization you need to raise some money and you want to do it as a fundraiser, those are my favorite ones to do. Get like an American Legion, seat a couple hundred people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll charge admission and give me a little cut so I can pay my bills. But we'll go and raise money for whoever or whatever. I'd love to do it, especially veterans groups, homeless, whatever. Let's do it.
Yeah, we got.
Let's
do it.
Let's bring some peace, love, joy, and happiness to the rest of the world and make some money while we're doing it.
Yeah, we got Toy Puddle. He's from Hell, Michigan. Melvin Jensen, him and his son watched your show, and the Vintage Mom, and who's this? Texas GG, I guess, TXGG, happened to be traveling the country and currently in Mackinac City, Michigan. I got some people representing Michigan there.
Michigan, British Columbia.
Yeah, Doc Forge.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, very cool community you have here. That's phenomenal. I'd like to see this going on pretty regularly. Do you plan on having like guests and stuff like that? Or you?
I do.
Comedians
This is quite fun. We need to
do cool, isn't it? Yeah, it's fun when you have fun people to interact with in a stream. And I do a lot of streams. I'm a comic book creator, so there are a lot of streams I go on that aren't this fun because I'm just there to pitch my product, and they're there to interview me and ask me about the product and all that. And that's fun for those who are into comic books, because my comic book is badass. But, they'll enjoy that. But this is a much more broad, like you can pretty much cover anything here in topics. And I think that's great. And you have a good comedian network too, that you could have plenty of really entertaining guests on. I think you're going to be a superstar. In fact, in my mind, you're already there. Personally,
Oh, thank you.
You have it. You know what I mean? That it that people talk about. You've got it. That Leonard is freaking brilliant, and I really believe this is what people need right now. This is the kind of comedy people really need right now.
That to me is accomplished, is just bring comedy back. Everybody's so wound up and so I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I just want to help people just relax and enjoy their life, whether I agree with you politically or not, or your stance on religion or whatever. You're a human being, and we need to bring that connection back to just loving and appreciating and caring for each other again. We've lost that, and we need to bring it back. And if I can help people by just getting on here once, twice, heck, I'd go 5 times a week if people wanted me to. But to just talk about just life, just learn that there's so much more that you could do with yourself. Take up a new talent. Learn to play the guitar. Who cares if you're bad at it? Learn to sing. You want to sing. You want to make art, go pick up a bunch of crap out in your garage and turn something and make a sculpture. I mean, just expand and learn and grow and have fun.
Don't underestimate yourself either, because all I ever hear from people is, "Oh, I can never do that," but they really like it. So what that tells me is they probably could if they just had the time to do it, put the time into it. Sometimes it's a matter of reworking your schedule. Maybe the job you have that you can't imagine ever quitting, maybe you can find a better one that where you don't have to work as many hours, and then you'll have time free to do things. If you want it, you'll do it. You'll find a way to do it. And I think right now it's vital for people to get into things, just find things to do, because all of these idle hands going around, man, they're creating bad things, and I don't think everybody creating bad things want to be creating bad things. I think it's just all that they see that they can make at the moment, and they want to create something, and they want to be a part of something. They want to make their money, whatever their motivation is. There's so many good things you can do with your time that's going to help you grow as a person and make you feel accomplishment every once in a while. That feeling of accomplishment is amazing. It's phenomenal. And here's something else too I'd like to tell people too about this is, in the comic book community that I'm a part of with creators, different comic book creators and artists and everything. In the last couple of years, I've seen multiple, I don't know how many, half a dozen different artists come into the community with barely basic art skills. And they were very passionate, and they paid attention, and they watched the good artists, and they asked them, the right questions. And they went out there and they networked, and they learned the things that can take them to the next level. They took the critique from the pros, and they built, they built their technique on top of that. And now they're as good as most of those pros out there who were teaching them. And nobody thought they were going to be shit. And here they are, like 4 months later. I've seen even 4 months have that much of an impact on somebody. Just how they change the way they think about what they're doing and start restructuring their time and what their goals are. And it's sort of like I think a lot of people in this society, I think you'd probably agree, have they want that instant payoff. The corporations have got us addicted to instant payoff. I do a thing, I get something now, or whatever, or I get my thing now and then I pay later, all these different things like that. But in this case, what it is you're paying now, and you're going to pay every day for a while, but then you're going to get that payoff. And then once it starts, it first comes in the form of upgrading yourself. You start feeling accomplishment and feeling great. And now you feel like I can do other things. What else am I neglecting that I could actually be doing? And then opportunities start opening up for you in that thing. So if you're good at paintball, for example, you enjoy paintball a lot. You go out there, you start doing paintball all the time, and you find ways you can get in on bigger paintball things. And maybe you'll start a tournament. Maybe that'll be your state's biggest tournament or something annually or every 2 months or whatever. You just find a way.
It's opening up your creativity. It's saying, hey, what do I want to see in this world? Think about the things that you want to achieve. I mean, is there a certain movie that you want to see and it's not out there? Well, then write it. Find some people and create it. If there's a piece of there's a song in your head, and I don't know how to write a song, but you got a song in your head. Well, guess what? You do know how to write a song because you got it bouncing around in your head. Write it down. Find people. There's a lot of people out there who are great artists who know how to make music. Call them up and say, hey, I got this idea for a song. Can you help me? People love to help other people. They really do.
Yeah.
Just ask questions. Just start doing it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's so many opportunities out there. And when you start doing things, you find yourself feeling like you have control in your life. You feel like you're doing things and living your life because you're doing things. You're not just sitting around watching. You're not sitting around just reacting to everything. When you're a doer, when you're a creator, you don't have time to feel bad about things. You don't have time to be focused on stuff. You're creating and you're caught into that, and you're just it's so much fun to create. I mean, creating these characters and writing jokes and getting in front of a group of people and telling those jokes. And it's the best thing in the world. It's everything.
Yeah, man.
Everything to me. And I try to, and anything you do to be creative helps you in every other aspect of your life. Because when you're being creative, you come up with creative ideas in every other aspect of your life.
Yeah, your brain synapses are firing faster. And I've noticed that happening with me since I started working on the production company and I had all this talent coming in. This is my dream team I've literally formed. I've been trying to form for decades. And when I get this coming in, I have this high confidence level that, all right, with this team, I can accomplish anything I want to accomplish. And then I just go, okay, so there's a process to doing this. Let's start the process. And I reach out, I network with everyone I can who I think is like-minded. I think this is the important thing too, is build your foundation on good people, trustworthy people, reliable people. The weakest link is the concept is there for a reason. It's a real thing. I've had many projects fail because one person in the project was the weak link. They were either they had some illness, mental illness that we didn't see on the surface, didn't detect until it's too late. Yeah. Or they turned out that they were some kind of drug addict that was too unstable. And there's all kinds of things, endless variety. So I vet everyone I work with. I get to know their personalities. And I say, is this somebody I want to work with, someone I believe in? And that's who I work with. Anything less than that, not the best idea. It might be more trouble than it's worth. It might even destroy everything else you're doing with the people who are awesome to work with, and it brings something. So there's a lot, I think, that is simple wisdom, but I don't think a lot of people in the more super consumer countries are really getting it because we're not taught to be entrepreneurs. We're not taught to be creative. We're not taught to be leaders.
We're taught to be cogs in a wheel. We're taught to show up. That the problem with our educational system is we teach kids to show up, shut up, and do what you're told. They're not taught creativity. They're not taught critical thinking. And we need to get the world back to that. I need to do some shout outs.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that people are giving me money.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Somebody said TXGG, Texas GG. I guess it sent $1.99, a super sticker. Thank you. That's awesome.
That's an awesome super chat. By the way, guys, you want to hear him say something in Leonard, he reads something or whatever, you super chat him like that. He'll do it in Leonard's voice. Oh, look at that. Now, see, that's beautiful right there. What El Porno.
Is that how you say it? It's 20 from New Zealand, $20. Thank you.
I like what he said. You've added joy to my days. Great character, bud. Doobie doo. Yeah. Nice reference.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate any support I could get right now. Because like I said, one of the problems I've had is that I've had some shows that were set up and they've been either delayed or shut down because of COVID. I was looking to have one of my best years as a stand-up when COVID hit, and I lost quite a bit of work. And getting back to working again, it's still a lot of places are still kind of up in the air. So it's been a little crazy. So any support I can get, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We have Cody 117 asks, how do I get over my ex? Have you ever had your heart broken there, Greg?
Oh yeah.
How did you get over your broken heart? So we can help Cody here.
The way I did it was just what I was just talking about earlier in dealing with anything bad. Get busy creating something, and it's not putting aside the problem. It's just helping you tolerate. You don't need to sit there and focus on it every second.
Yeah, isn't going to bring them back. Yeah, no, I like to point out to people that when you have a bad relationship that ends, or what you thought was a good relationship, usually when it ends, it's because it's not what you thought it was, especially for the other person. Often we, especially when we meet somebody we want and we're interested in them, we feel like we need to become something to make them happy. Mm-hmm. And we kind of lose who we are. And then when that person doesn't appreciate you for that and they move on, it kind of, you get lost because one, you've lost that relationship. Mm-hmm. Also, you've lost part of yourself because you surrendered part of who you were to change for that person. And when you keep doing that, that's when you fall into bad relationships. Mm-hmm. Because you're never really good at relationships because you're always changing to make that other person happy. Mm-hmm. And that's not what you should be looking for. You should look for somebody who accepts you for who you are right now, not somebody who wants to change you, make you something else. I had a relationship when I was in high school. I had this girl that, we dated for a few months, and then she went away for the summer to work, and we broke up, and I was heartbroken. Oh no, the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. And then a few months later, we get back together, and then we were together for a couple of years after that. And then I went away for a while, and as soon as I went away, she found somebody else, got married, and it was over. Mm-hmm. And I was heartbroken. I was like, you have those moments that you're obsessed with these ideas that she's with somebody else, and all that strangeness. Mm-hmm. But I had given up so much of who I was. I gave up. I was into auto racing. I was into rugby. I was getting more into comedy and acting. I was into all these things. Mm-hmm. Well, anything I did that didn't spend time with her, she was upset with. So I surrendered doing all these fun things I enjoyed to make her happy because I thought, well, she's the one, and I'm going to do everything I can for her. And then when she's gone, I'm sitting there going, I'm kind of had this identity crisis. It wasn't so much I was upset that she was gone. I was upset because I didn't know who I was anymore. I'd given up everything for her, and now she's gone, and if anything, it was just sort of liberating going back and going, hey, I could do all the stuff I enjoyed before.
Yeah.
I can get into auto racing. I can watch rugby. I can get into football. I can do comedy and act and do all these fun things. And that's how you do it, is you find the fun things to do with your life.
And then you'll attract a partner that's into those things too. A lot
Absolutely.
of times.
When you stop looking, that's when you find them.
Hmm. I guess
That's
that's
when
how
you
that
attract
plays
them.
out. We're always
You-
told these lines, but they don't seem to work. There's no extra elaboration a lot of times, and so people think, well, it don't work that way. Nobody's my woman ain't showing up knocking on my door. It's like, just go be you, do your stuff.
Yeah, go out there. When you go out and you do your activities, you find people doing those activities, and now all of a sudden you don't have to give up auto racing because you found somebody who likes auto racing. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because you were doing some of the auto racing.
Mm-hmm.
You're racing stock cars on the weekends, and you met
Yeah.
somebody. It's like that's how life works.
Mm-hmm.
When you put it out there, what you put out into the world is what you attract, and that the same relationships. If you are a strong, solid person and you know who you are, you're going to attract somebody who's attracted to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the person you're going to be happiest with. So I hope, Cody, I hope that helps you. But a lot of it is just move on. They did you a favor to dump you now. That's the way you need to look at it. Say, wow, thank you. I avoided that disaster of a relationship, and now I can move on with my life. Now I'm ready for the real one.
Toy Puddle's pretty funny in your chat there.
Oh yeah,
he said, "My harp is broken," in all capitals. Sharon wants to know what signs we are. I guess astrology.
What's that?
Sharon wants to know what your astrological sign is. Or
well, I was born on June 3rd, 1969, so I am a Gemini. But I've heard recently people talking about how the signs have shifted or something. I don't know. Have you heard that? People, I'm not so much into astrology. I
not
believe
either.
that I create my own world.
Mm-hmm.
I create my own reality. I'm not interested in what Aries is doing.
It's another box to put your consciousness inside, and
yeah,
in my opinion,
I've never believed into that. Oh, this is your personality type. It's like, no.
You know what I actually dislike about astrology is when people determine that they don't like you already because you're an opposite sign. Like, oh, I would never date him. He's a Cancer, and that's bad for me. I'm a Aries or whatever. I've heard this a lot. This kind of stuff, over the years.
Which is strange. That's like disliking somebody because of the color of their skin.
Yeah, kind of something like that. It's
very superficial, and if anything,
yeah.
it says something horrible about who you are.
Yeah. Well, if astrology works for you, you think it feels good, it seems to work for you, then I think it could be something maybe that could lead to other understandings, such as, okay, so we got these different types. I hear there's this Myers-Briggs type indicator. Maybe I'll look into that and see what the personality types are like. If it leads somebody to Myers-Briggs, that can really be helpful because it can teach introverts how to deal with extroverts and vice versa. And some other things. Myers-Briggs type indicator has its uses. Some people don't think so, but it definitely has its uses. But don't just say you're not going to get along with a certain, a person because of their astrological sign. Maybe if you see that they are behaving in a way that's similar to their sign, well, then maybe get to know that personality type and then figure out how you can get along with those people. Sometimes you'll find your favorite people that way. Some of my favorite people are introverts, and I'm an extrovert. And I used to be a really extreme extrovert, and I had to learn to tone myself back because I would, oh, you got some more super chats here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, I did. That's cool. Like, okay, see, I'm there. Okay, so this displays. That's cool. Thank you, RH.
Yeah, and usually the way super chats are done is if somebody wants to hear you read something, then they'll super chat it, and then that guarantees to the crowd that you'll read their chat, basically.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, it's just super sticker. Who is what's his I don't think that's Napoleon. Who is that? Who's this picture? His profile picture of?
I can't see here. Is that RH? I can't see it like blown up.
Okay,
He
so
can tell
he
you.
writes. So he's written down here the clip you did where you scratch your head at the end and say, "I don't know what's going on," is absolute hilarity for those on night shift in the health sector.
Mm.
Yes, that's the. Are you familiar with that one? That's the video that really blew up, that took off. To be honest with you, and what had happened was, I'll tell you the story on that one. Me and the wife were getting ready. We're living in Connecticut. We were getting ready to fly out to Utah because I was doing some acting and stuff. And so it was like June 1st. I remember the day because we're getting ready to fly out. My son is driving us to the airport. So I'm outside waiting for my wife to come outside. So we get in the car and go to the airport. And while I'm out there, I'm looking at Facebook, and a friend of mine had posted, JD Fagan, another comedian, had posted this smart alecky question of, hey, nobody seems to have an opinion about what's going on in the world. Could somebody tell me what's happening? This was during all of the George Floyd riots and stuff were starting to kick off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going to answer. I started texting or started writing something, and then I realized, now I got to do a video. And so it just popped up that I'll just do, quick little video where I have no idea. So I make the video, and I posted it to his line. It got like 6 likes, and I thought, this is so stupid. I need to share it with more people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I posted the video, and then it just took off. And various people took it and turned it into different memes and stuff. And one of the memes was somebody who was a nurse changed it and added the title "Night Shift Reporting to Day Shift."
Mm.
And the thing just blew up. I mean, that version
Wow.
just took off, especially with like nurses and doctors and firemen and all these different people who work night shifts. And so now I have a huge following of nurses out there. It's kind of funny.
That's really cool.
I know if I ever get sick, I'm going to be well taken care of.
Yeah, this is the time of relation. People want to relate so much with others because we're so closed up from the rest of humanity now, and the only thing they can do is reach out to the internet. That's what people have, and they want to be able to relate. And a video like that, I can totally see doing that. Got another super chat there. Awesome.
Yep.
Hell yeah. That's great, man. You have a very supportive community. That's fabulous.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. Thank you.
Keep those super chats coming, and then Rodney can afford to do this and do it regularly.
Yeah, actually, might even have a plan next time.
Yeah, get some comedian guests and stuff like that going.
Yeah,
and
I get my friend EK back up on here.
Hell yeah, EK is really great. He is super, super cool, man. That guy, and very talented too. I think your crowd would like him. They'd like his character, Willie. Willie's another sort of endearing character that's goofy. That's phenomenal. This is everyone, Rodney's a humble guy, but I'm going to say right now that this is something special that we're all a part of right now. What Rodney's starting here, this is a new community here. And this is, honestly, it may not be a new kind of comedy. It may have existed before, but this is the only source I have for this kind of comedy right now. And I think this is the kind of comedy I want more than any right now. I don't need F-bombs and titties and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, I've seen enough titties. I like titties. They're fine. I like them. I don't need them in my comedy. I don't need a bunch of degeneracy and stuff. I like to feel good. I like to just be goofy and laugh at something, and sometimes even cringe.
That's kind of my whole thing is I don't want to be. I'm not a vulgar person. I don't. I mean, I swear occasionally, but I'm not. It's not part of my normal vernacular. Um, and I don't want to talk about the same things everybody else talks about. I don't. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't think I'm a better person because I don't do dirty jokes. I don't do, and I hope people don't get the impression that I'm trying to be, Mr. Pious or whatever. But I just think that's so overdone. It's done so much that people are just tired of it. When you
Yeah.
go to a comedy club and you bring somebody that you just met on the internet and you want to impress her, and then you bring her to a comedy show, and the guy's up there talking about all this nasty stuff, and it's kind of embarrassing that you brought this one woman that you don't hardly know to that. It's like, So I want to create something that's just positive and fun that anybody can watch. That if my kids watch it, I don't feel embarrassed. That I'm going to have grandkids someday, maybe, and this stuff's going to survive. This is going to be out there. I want them to be able to say, "Hey, this is my grandpa," and it's not, something nasty. I just want to give people where you're going to just watch it. You don't have to feel like you can watch it with anybody. You can watch it at work. You can share it with anybody. It's funny. It's dumb. It's silly. It makes you laugh.
I could watch it with my mom.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I want.
Yeah.
You can share it with anybody, and you're not embarrassed.
See, that's what I'm doing with my character Gun Demon. Is there's definitely horror involved. It's dark at times. There's monsters and stuff, but it's really an endearing story. And I've set the bar at PG-13 because George Lucas is my biggest influence. And one thing about Lucas's movies, I can sit and watch it with my mom, my elderly mom, and we have many generations apart between us. She's a lot older, and she had me at an older age. So we can sit there and we can watch something like that. And I don't have to be uncomfortable because I'm sitting in a room with my mom while somebody's humping somebody else. Like there's some dry humping going on screen. I don't like that kind of stuff. But, and like I'm doing superheroes. Superheroes don't need that. This new edgy superhero, or actually there really aren't many superhero characters right now in film. It's mostly anti-heroes and villains being glorified. And I can't watch that stuff with my mom or watch it maybe with like a grandkid or something without being uncomfortable. I don't, I mean, I definitely don't want kids glorifying villains. That's a big problem in the media right now. Disney is big perpetrators of that society destabilizing psyops. That's got to go. We got to start resisting all this stuff. So you're bored and you want to watch a movie, but is it really worth trading the well-being of future generations just because you're bored and you want to watch something for an hour and a half? I started a hashtag about a year ago. I didn't think it really caught on yet, but somebody told me a few days ago that they've seen it around. I was like, what? Somebody's actually using it? But it's called Starve the Mouse. I want to see Disney go. They are not the people to be responsible and in charge of our media. Wow, another super chat, man. That's great.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, if you guys want Rodney to say anything as Leonard, put that in the super chat. He'll read it.
Yeah.
That way you're getting something back. What's beautiful though is just setting up this community. Where people can come and hang out. People who have, things in common. I guarantee you, we're all very different people. Everyone in the chat and everything, but we have a similar kind of comedy in mind. And things like that. So that's really cool. You want to unite with the people out there who feel similarly, feel similar to how you do in the important areas. I think.
Yeah. And like I said, I want to create some more than just me doing stand up. I'd like to get into doing cartoons, doing characters, doing movies that are just positive, fun, uplifting stuff that you can watch with everybody and laugh and have a good time. I want to create all that kind of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
and this sort of thing, doing these live chats and the support that you guys are giving me, this is incredible. Thank you. This will help because now I can, I can focus on doing this stuff rather than
Mm-hmm.
uh, getting
Day
a real
job and stuff.
getting
Yeah.
a real job. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
people, help me
Yeah.
out. Thank you.
This is the realest job, though. That's the realest career, when you're spreading joy like that. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. People really get joy from what you do. I know I certainly do. It brightens my day a lot of times. You know, it's not that I'm down or anything before I watch the video. It's just that I didn't even know it a lot of times, but I needed a break. I just needed 5-10 minutes to sit there and giggle and relieve that stress. As I'm not that stressed, but it's all this work I'm doing constantly, just work, 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 work. I need those Leonard moments, man.
Yeah. Oh, and it's been a mutually beneficial situation for me because almost every day, we get messages coming in through the website. Uh, I guess I can mention that rodneynorman.com. It's out
Mm-hmm.
there, people. Through there or on Facebook or Instagram, sending me messages talking about how these videos have changed their mental state. They've been able to overcome, a lot of people have lost family members and friends over the last year. I just one of the groups that I'm on on Facebook just recently joined it, called the Gamblers. Are you familiar with these guys?
Hmm.
Well, they take old cars and they just turn them into rally cars, but they're basically just junk cars that nobody else would care for. And they turn them into something fun and entertaining. And they get
That's
together and have
cool.
these really rallies. But what they also do at these rallies is they clean up places. They'll go to a park that's messy, like or a lake or something, and they clean it up. It's part of the whole thing. They'll camp out and they'll clean up an area,
Wow.
pick up all the garbage, and it's pretty cool deal. And I've been following them for the last few weeks. Well, one of their people in the community had some issues, and he chose to take himself out of this world a few days ago. And it's interesting because people are wanting that community so much that all these people who don't know each other, like me, I didn't know anybody. A fan invited me to join the group, and so I did. And I'm following all these stories, and they're talking about this gentleman who's passed on. And he was a great guy. I mean, he was full of fun, loving dude, and everybody just liked the guy. He was involved in his community. He knew a lot of people, and yet he felt he needed to go. And I hope that we can connect with people. I hope that I can help people to just realize that, look, whatever it is that you're going through, you can get through this. Don't, I hate the cliche, but it's true. Don't give a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that's, man, if you're out there and you need help, just reach out to somebody in this group. Send a message to me. Sometimes, I posted earlier this last week that a lot of people who are depressed, they don't need to hear something from you. They just need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And just taking the time to just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? And just chatting with them. Sometimes that's all they, people just need to know that they're not alone, that they matter, that they care. And we do care. We do matter. And man, if you're having a hard time, man, reach out to someone. Just say, hey, I'm having a hard time. Can we talk? I guarantee you, people will be happy to listen.
You'll find out who the real people are, at least.
Yes, you'll find out who your real friends are when you call up and say, look, I'm having a hard time. And I've had people who have reached out to me, and I'm humbled by it. But I think that's the endearing quality of the character in particular. And people ask me, is this fake or whatever? And I said, well, the character is a creation, but the sentiment is very real. I mean, the what's being said, this is really how this is really, if anything, this is how I feel. This is, I really think people need to just take time, relax, and just enjoy your life. Enjoy the moment. When you do that, when you're doing things and you're enjoying yourself, you don't have time to be depressed. You don't have time to be drawn down. Even if you have things that are going on that are depressing, you have people who are dying, you have people who are sick, you have bills to pay, you have your water's about to get shut off or whatever. You got all these issues going on in your life. There's still a lot of things you can enjoy. There's still things that you can do with your life and be happy. That's the message. I hope that that's getting through to people. I feel like it is.
Yeah.
I want to keep sharing that message with people.
I think it's getting through, Rodney. I really do, because I think your delivery is perfect. The perfect delivery to deliver that message, because you're living it. You're this character, like you say, you're channeling something that you have within you. This character is kind of probably a guy that a lot of people want to be. They don't want to have to worry about stuff. They want to just chill. I will say this though. There are times in life when you can't be busy because the depression is so bad. You can't focus on things. I've been in those situations before, and the thing to remember is it's temporary and it's tolerable. I went to a psychologist when I was in a situation like that, and she told me that. She said it's temporary and it's tolerable. Keep repeating that. And I'm like, oh yeah, mumbo jumbo. But I had studied psychology enough to understand, well, there is actual data behind what she's saying. I'll give it a try. And by thinking of it as temporary and tolerable, I was able to get through it. It's just everybody's got to kind of, I think, deal with trauma their own way. And some can get busy and work. Some can create something. Some can laugh it off. A lot of people laugh when they're anxious or when they're depressed and things, and that's their channel. That's always been kind of my thing. If I'm really depressed, it's like just joke about it, poke fun at it, and then you destroy the power it has over you, basically.
Yes. That's that I did a show up in Idaho one night, and there was a gal who was she was I believe she had been a Marine. I was in the Marine Corps, and I make fun of being in the Marine Corps. I make fun of boot camp and just the life, just being a Marine. There's a lot of funny things that go on, and she got all upset after the show. She's like, she thought that I was making fun of service members, and I'm like, I didn't make fun of anybody. I made fun of life in the Marine Corps. That's all I did. But she just started just wigging out on me, and it was kind of bizarre. And even everybody around her was like, "What are you doing? What's going on here?" you just learn that sometimes people are going to interpret things however they want. She was drunk. I'll give her that. But you can't let life get you down. You've got to learn. And I was trying to explain to her. I said, look, I know people who are service members who appreciate my jokes about the Marine Corps, because how you deal with the trauma and the horrible things that you saw is being able to laugh at, because like you said, you've got to take away that power. And when you mock it and you ridicule it, that's how you take its power away. Mm-hmm. That's how you overcome it. That's why comedy is so important.
Yes.
That's how we change society. When we are able to make fun of society and point out the silly things that are going on, then we can make changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they used to sell hot dogs in packages of 10s and only sold hot dog buns in packages of 8.
Right.
And then it kept getting pointed out how silly this was. And then one day can get packages of 10, or you can get, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a silly little thing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's an example.
Mm-hmm.
Silly things that we do in society can change if we make fun of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you want to stop people from making fun of things, it's because people in power don't want you to make fun of them.
Yes. They want you. Here's the thing we've seen. I'm sure you've seen it too. The last year and a half ish has been nonstop barrage of fear and uncertainty and just aggression from the media. Just really getting people, amping people up. Just it's causing a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and that's not healthy. To be bombarded with all of that and always feeling those negative emotions. Your psyche wants to stay at a middle ground, and so when something's really bad, you'll have a big negative spike, but your psyche wants to go back up to that medium. Now, something great happens, it wants to go up to a positive spike too. And that can be good for short periods of time. But just like the negative spikes, that can be too much to maintain. You want to stay usually in that middle ground where the health is. And they're trying to keep us way down here constantly at a minimal. I say they, and of course everybody has their ideas of who they are, but I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But they want to keep us at a low, just a low state.
Yeah, they want you to they don't want you to think for yourself. They want to do all the thinking for you.
React.
They want you to be in fear so you're easier to control. They want you to be in debt so that you're always having somebody to pay off the debt. All of these things that it's the system has developed to make rich people richer and poor people poorer.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what political system you think you're in,
Mm-hmm.
but you think, oh, if we're socialism, we won't have that problem. Oh, no, they have the same problem. In China has the exact same issues going on in that regards.
Mm-hmm.
The haves have and the have-nots continue to not have. And until you, as we as individuals, decide to take that power away from them, when we make better choices, we stop using credit and debt as a way of supporting your lifestyle that you can't afford. When you buy into all those things, a buy now, pay later mentality, until you get out of that cycle, and you'll find that most people's depression is around finances. It's around money. It's just not having money. And what money is a representation of power. And so when you go into debt, you're giving your power, literally handing it over to somebody else. You're making yourself a slave to them. And that's something that we're never taught.
In Islam, they call it it's a sin called usury, like banking interest and all that. That's actually a sin to Muslims.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe that's part of why they're being targeted and have been for many years now. Is they don't like that system. So, like Sharon kind of said, they're banker wars.
Yes. And the way to stop it is just stop participating in it. Stop getting into debt. Stop getting into living beyond your means. And part of that is, we've been sold this idea the American dream is that you have big houses and lots of cars and blah blah blah. And it's like that none of that's happiness. Just having a bunch of stuff, you have just a lot of stuff you have to worry about. Happiness is just being happy with who and what you have. And then when you gain more, and I'm not saying, hey, stop living your dreams. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when you're so focused on just the things, you're never going to find happiness. I mean, some of the most miserable people you'll meet are wealthy people. I mean, if you look at the children of, second, third generations of families that have gotten money, those kids are messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have this weird thing because, yes, they have all the money they could ever need or want. But because of that, they never feel accomplished because everything was always handed to them. They never really do anything. So when you find somebody who's from a wealthy family and they're actually successful on their own, that's pretty uncommon. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's actually pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of them it's just they just get into drugs and alcohol and they make horrible life
Dopamine.
choices, huh?
Got to get that dopamine.
Chasing the dopamine,
Mm-hmm.
and
You just described, by the way, the current roster in Hollywood. Those third, fourth generation rich. Hollywood created a lot of rich families, and now we're seeing the bad movies that these idiots are making. There are a lot of people off the street you could grab who would be a lot better than a lot of these so-called A-listers we have right now, and the directors and Jar Jar Abrams, I call him J.J. Abrams. Not impressed with his directorial ability. Yeah, and I'm glad you like that.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah, like I'm pretty proud of that one. But and incidentally, I started using that, and then about 2 years later, I started noticing people in the fandom menace community using that phrase, and I was like, "Yeah," felt good about that. But no, these guys, they don't know what they're doing. Jar Jar was told since he was a kid he's the next Spielberg. Now, did he take the steps to be the next Spielberg? No, he just was in the position he could play with the toys, expensive toys. He had all the connects because of his family, the Abrams family. And so he would hang out with Spielberg since he was a kid, because friend of family, that type of deal. So you're the successor to Spielberg. No, the successor is somebody out there, probably a poor person who right now has amazing filmmaking skills, who can make movies that touch us in the way like Spielberg
somebody
did.
Who's out there who says, I have an idea, I have a dream. I'm going to get a bunch of my friends and I'm going to film it on my iPhone 5.
Mm-hmm. They think of it like a kingdom. Like they're the prince. He's the prince, so he's the prince to Spielberg's kingdom. Is how these a lot of them view it. It's like your dad works in the union. He gets you in at age 18. You get to get ahead of all the other guys that's been in the low end of the spectrum, or not spectrum, the rung of the ladder, trying to work their way up to the good gigs. You get right in there because your daddy's in there, and then you act like you own it, like it's just hey man, I belong here because my daddy did it. In some ways there is some. In some fields, I think there is something, because that dad, it might be someone with very unique insights that he taught to his child at a young age, and then that is something that grew over the years, and then that child became somebody great, took it to the next level. But that seems to be pretty rare.
Yeah, most of them just end up in rehab. Just look, I've hung out with a lot of rich people,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones who are self-made, wealthy, are some of the most amazing people you ever meet. The ones who really understood how to create wealth and how to live their life. And a lot of them, they don't wear the fancy clothes, they don't drive the fancy cars, they don't have the big houses. They live very humble, happy lives. They travel, do whatever they want. They're not bound to have to spend all their money, having a place taken care of that they never go to. Just having a lot of stuff is not happiness.
Mm.
And it hurts my soul, because you see people that you could just tell that their whole life is a disaster, even though they have all the money they could ever hope for.
Oh, they could do such amazing things.
And then the part that drives me nuts is that you see people have all this money and they spend it on nonsense and garbage when they could be doing so many amazing things. I love it when I see people who just go out and do. When Ryan Hamilton used to always do this joke. He said that he was an aspiring philanthropist. Did I say that correctly?
Philanthropist. Philanthropist.
Yeah, it's like that would be the thing to aspire to, is to have so much money that you got money to just share with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream. That's what I would love to have.
That's my dream. I want to build modern eco villages in communities around the world that are suffering from horrible poverty, in areas where the people want to improve their lives. I worked in ecology and sustainability for several years. The real stuff, not the CNN global warming stuff, but the real stuff. And worked with a lot of people on the field in Africa and India and different countries. I almost got to go to India and start a project for the Indian cabinet. In fact, putting a
Oh,
village
wow.
together. I couldn't get a passport. And so that's where I got limited. But yeah, basically, I want to do this. I want to make a lot of money. In those years I was working in ecology, I spoke with many people who represented their tribes and communities in different parts of Africa, and they just needed, like, they had the will to improve, and they had the motivation and the energy, and they want their people to be better, but they were cut off from the knowledge of the things like permaculture, food growth systems. They didn't understand that stuff. They didn't understand how to set up different energy systems, redirect water properly so that they don't, suffer horribly from monsoon periods. And I did what I could. Me and my team did what we could to get information to these people. And but I want to do more. I want to make a ton of money so that then I could just go around the world to these places and get these experts in permaculture, natural home building, energy, all these systems, and have them teach these people how to do it, how to maintain it, and give them the tools they need. That's my dream. And then have the ones that are good teachers out of the bunch, give them a 4-wheel drive vehicle and fuel and all these things, and have them go to other villages where they have connects and teach those people. This is true independence, is if people are producing what they need. And then maybe if you still have to have an economic system, you can buy toys, you can buy video games, art, fun things like that. But everyone should be eating and everything like that. Nobody should be homeless.
There is no reason for people to be starving to death in this
No
world.
good one.
No, I mean, just we so much food. It's disturbing when you really look at it. It's like all these people all these countries are having issues, and we're literally just throwing thousands of pounds of food away every day.
It's a stupid system, man. It's purposely stupid. It's all for control reasons, and it makes me disgusted to be a Homo sapien sapien. Like if an alien ambassador landed right outside, and I'm the unlucky sap that has to, or the lucky sap that has to be the ambassador for the Homo sapiens sapiens, I'd be like, look, guys, maybe could you come back in about 200 years? Because we're going through a little crisis here, a little family crisis right now, a little growing pains. Maybe we'll talk to you in a little while. So we're not ready. This species as a whole, we're a mess. Even a lot of good people don't really know what they should be doing or what can be done.
Yeah.
I've been, what I ran into was this huge sense of futility in what I was doing, working in ecology and sustainability, because you would have hundreds of people saying, your project's amazing, this is what we need in the world. And then when it came time to do something, 1 or 2 people show up. It felt good for those people to say they're going to help. And then when the time came, they're like, and they got all these excuses. They don't help. And we'll never get anything done that way. Meanwhile, the bad people don't stop, and they have money to hire millions of people to do their stuff. So it just doesn't work. So what I figured out was also what we ran into was we had an infiltrator. I'm sure you've probably heard of agents, that infiltrate these kind of groups and try to break them up and all that. And I'm not going to, I don't have evidence, so I'm not going to say it was government or corporate. It was one of those. Broke up one of these projects that was really about to take off the ground. Got an infiltrator in. We trusted this person. They destroyed the project. And from then on out, I decided I need to set out to make massive amounts of money, because I can't be infiltrated. I can be shot and killed, but I can't be infiltrated. So like a group can be, and a movement can be. I don't believe in movements and groups. They're all infiltrated and taken over if they're not started by an alphabet agency. So that's my goal. I've never been one that's motivated by money, but the last few years, the last 2 years now as president of a multimedia company, now I have to be for my team. I have to have their interests in mind. I have to think, how can we really bring in the money, and do all this? And I'm glad I think that way now, because I think most people don't think that way. We're not suited for the economic system. So we suffer miserably, like I did most of my life. The money's not coming into me yet. I know it's going to this year. I absolutely know it. The projects we have in the works and the things we've got set up, I'm going to be all right, I think. I'm going to be okay finally. I'm finding my way finally in this world. But I had to completely shift my mindset, Rodney, over to being somebody who thinks, how can we make money? How can these talents, how can these products, and how can we, get it to people? And we have to scramble like that now in this age. We can't just be ourselves and just, as the spiritual people say, just be. You can't do that to really thrive in this world unless there are those who have managed to find that way. They're part of different communities that support them and different things, intentional communities, whatever. But most people don't network that well. They don't even know where to start looking, or even who to network with.
Yeah. Well, that's what I hope everybody out here who's watching now and watches this in the future know that's the kind of stuff I want to promote and support. And hopefully I can get. And if you don't have something that you know what to do, I want to present projects where we can all just get behind it. Whether it's presenting fun, family-oriented comedy and sharing that with the world, or look, put something together and go help less fortunate, help homeless, help veterans, help. There's so many people out there who need help, and if you want to know how to help yourself, help other people.
God, yes.
And so this is what I'm hoping to do with this whole thing, with the podcast, the streaming, is getting people together and, hey, let's talk about some ideas. Let's make this world a better place. Let's stop thinking about stuff. Let's start doing stuff.
Yeah, man. We've thought
let's
and
get off
talked
our
so
butts
much.
and start doing some fun things, man. That's what I want to do.
I want to see more people really supporting the things that they care about. So if they care about children, for example, a lot of people do. That's sort of hardwired into us. So I see a lot of people, even who care about children, not even doing stuff that helps children, even though they try to, because they don't study child psychology. They don't study developmental psychology. They don't study nutrition and things to understand how the body develops off of certain nutrition, what it needs. These things, like if you really care, you're going to study those things very in depth, and then it will come into place what needs to be done. The solutions aren't that difficult that I've seen out there. All these problems, oh my God, all these problems on planet Terra are out of control. And everybody's like, nobody knows what to do, and it's simple stuff. But this is the problem. This is the part that's not simple, is there are these entities in the way, and they distract us. To say the least, they distract us. What I really should say is they coerce and they trap us into their different types of systems, and their even entertainments. There are types of entertainment that just trap you in the wrong thinking, all this different stuff. And it's a minefield. And so that's why I feel almost an act of desperation to save our species is good people need to be reaching out to each other. If you recognize that another person's ethical, they might be a little Fruit Loopy. Maybe you don't believe in UFOs and they do, and you think they're a Fruit Loop because of it or something. But are they a good person? Are they trustworthy? Are they reliable? Maybe they're not attractive. Maybe they're not funny and witty. But are they good people and reliable? Because if they are, they're Homo sapiens sapiens, and they're some of the last members of your tribe that are left on this planet.
Well, that is so very true. Well, we're at 2 hour mark. I think let's let people get back. Here, let's give everybody an assignment. Well, if you want to continue to support us, please do share this, share my videos, like, comment, go to my website. I've got shirts and crap if you want to buy stuff. I thank you all for your support. Help me help me get out there and get this going. Let's make some great stuff. We want to make the movie. We'll be talking more about that. We're going to get an Indiegogo thing going. If you want to support what we're doing there, you can do so by throwing us some cash. Help us out. Help us get going.
Let's make this movie.
Because yeah, it's going to be awful. We'll talk about it next time. We'll talk a little more. We're still working out the details on the storyline. We're going to work on a trailer, a proof of concept trailer is what we're working on now. So we got that going on. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Greg, for joining me and for helping me out with this. I'm figuring this thing out.
My pleasure.
I'm fumbling along.
This is amazing, Rodney. You're literally my favorite comedian, and that's not even a joke. So getting to work with my favorite comedian, don't thank me, man. You're thanking me by working with me, man. This is a dream come true.
Absolute pleasure, and everybody who's dropped some cash on me tonight, thank you. Thank you. I have gas money to make it to Vegas tomorrow night, so I'm happy. Thank you. You have no idea what a relief that is.
I bet.
But yeah, we'll do more of these. We'll look at it how often, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm enjoying this. This is delightful. Thank you again, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Greg, and we shall see you all another time. As my friend Leonard would say, okay, bye.